Hello everyone, welcome to SSC Monk. I am Sakshi and today in this video we are going to talk about the complete medieval history. Okay, so basically by this video you will get to know that how questions are being asked in recent examination, because most of the questions in this video we have taken it from the 2025 examinations itself. Okay, you know that in recent examination the way of asking the questions has been changed. Obviously the content is same, but the way the questions are being asked, it is slightly different. Okay, like how basically it differs. See, previously the questions were like kind of one liner. Okay, like there's a statement and there's an option. Okay, it was a kind of one liner. Okay, but nowadays what has basically changed, you know that we will have two or three statement, and with the help of this statement in options also it may be asked like, okay, which one is true, one or two and three, like the pattern of kind of UPSC or some higher level examination, like you can say the CDS and all. So it obviously it becomes very important for us to get used to of such type of questions that will definitely help us in recent examinations or whatever examination we will face. Okay, so now let's start the video, and please make sure that you are sitting with a pen and paper, and please note it down whatever you don't know. Okay, it will definitely revise help you in revising the things before examination. Okay, so now let's start it. First of all, the first question we have: consider the following statement regarding Muhammad of Ghaur's battle in India. Okay, so this Muhammad of Ghaur, like the ruler, he was Muhammad Ghori basically. This question is about the Muhammad Ghori. Okay, you know that Muhammad Ghori was the third Muslim invader. Okay, third Muslim invader, and second Turkish invader. Okay, so this is the information about the Muhammad Ghori. Okay, now, so Muhammad Ghori, he came to India and he fought some battles. Okay, first option that we have: Muhammad of Ghor, that is Muhammad Ghori, defeated Prithviraj Chauhan at the battle of Chandavar in 1194 AD. Yes, he defeated Prithviraj Chauhan, but not in 1194. He defeated some other person, and he was who? He was Jaichand. Okay, he defeated Jaichand in Battle of Chandavar, not Prithviraj Chauhan. Okay, so this statement is incorrect. Now, in the first Battle of Tarain, that is which was held in 1191, Prithviraj Chauhan defeated Muhammad Ghori. Yes, this is correct. That in the first Battle of Tarain, Prithviraj Chauhan won. Basically, he is also known as the Prithviraj III. Okay, Prithviraj III. So he defeated Muhammad Ghori in first battle, but in the second battle, which was held in 1192, which we also call Battle of Tarain. Okay, second Battle of Tarain. In this battle, Muhammad Ghori defeated Prithviraj Chauhan. Yes, so the results were opposite. Okay, so here 2 and 3 both are correct. So correct answer will be option number C, that is 2 and 3 is the correct one. Okay, now, so let's talk something about the Muslim invasions. Okay, you know that first Muslim invasion, first Muslim kind of invader, you can say invader, he was Muhammad bin Qasim. Muhammad bin Qasim. Okay. Now, and but he was Arab. He was Arab. Okay. Now, second Muslim invader, he was Mahmud Ghaznavi. Mahmud Ghaznavi. Okay, Ghaznavi. He was the first Turkish invader also. First Turkish Turkish invader. Okay, now, so and now third Muslim invader, he was Muhammad Ghori. Okay, and he was the second Turkish invader. Okay, so you know that here you will see that when you see the impact of these rulers on our country, like at that time the Indian subcontinent, you know that these two rulers, this basically came for what? For loot. Okay, for taking the wealth of India. But the third battle of that is the third invader, he basically came India for what? For, you can say, for property, obviously, for the, you can say, for property, like for the money. Other than this, he also wanted to rule. Okay, his purpose was also to rule or to control this region. Okay, so it was about the Muhammad Ghori. Okay, and eventually, you know that his kind of, you can say, his slave, his name was Kutubuddin Aibak. Kutubuddin Aibak, who eventually led the foundation of slave dynasty, okay, which was the first dynasty of Delhi Sultanate. Okay, now let's talk about the next question. Which Pratihara ruler successfully repelled Arab invasion in northwestern India? Okay, you know that Pratihars were ruling in that region, and you know Pratihars, who was the founder of Pratihar? Okay, let's talk about this. Founder of Pratihars. He was Nagbhatta one. Okay, Nagbhatta one. So the answer of this question is also the option number B, that is Nagbhatta one. He was the founder and he successfully repelled the Arab invasions, okay, which was happening from that side. Okay, and when you talk about the Pratihars, you know there's a very famous battle, that is tripartite struggle which was between Palas, okay, Palas, Rashtrakutas, and whom? With and Pratiharas, okay, and this was basically for Kannauj. This battle was basically for Kannauj because Kannauj at that time was very important place. Okay, like in recent time, you know that Delhi is very important place for us. In the same way, at that time the Kannauj was very important place for trading and all. Okay, so now this was about the tripartite struggle. Okay, you can remember this also. Now some when you talk about the Pratihars, one important ruler was there, and he was Mihir Bhoj. Okay, Mihir Bhoj, and his he has taken the title of Adi Vraha. Okay, because he was a kind of great priest, or you can say great spiritual orientation. His spiritual orientation was towards God Vishnu. Okay, and Vishnu's other kind of name is Adi Vraha. Okay, well, a kind of Vraha. That's why he took the title of kind of Adi Vraha. Okay, now next we have, read the below statement marked as assertion and reason and mark the correct option. So this is kind of assertion reason questions, and you have to mark the correct answer. First we have, Humayun's tomb was the first major Mughal garden tomb and directly inspired the design of the Taj Mahal. Yes, like there was a kind of style, that is Char Bagh style. Char Bagh style, which was erected by whom? By Mughals. By Mughals. Okay, Char Bagh style. You will also see that in case of Taj Mahal, there's a structure of Taj Mahal, and beside this there's a all garden and all. Okay, so this is known as the Char Bagh style. Okay, so this is basically the correct statement, that this was introduced by Mughals. Okay, it introduced the Charbagh garden layout and double domed mausoleum style that became characteristic of later Mughal architecture. Yes, first very important monument which was built, it was Humayun's tomb. Okay, and on the inspiration of this Humayun tomb, other structures were built. Okay, one more important thing about Humayun was he also fought two battles. Okay, two battles he fought, and those battles were Battle of Chausa and Battle of Kannauj. Okay, so in both this battle, Humayun got defeated by whom? By Sher Shah Suri. Okay, you can remember this also, but here the correct answer will be this. Both statement are true, and R is the correct explanation of statement A. Okay, so correct answer is option number A. Next we have, which Rajput ruler defeated Muhammad Ghori in the first battle of Tarain? As you know that in first battle of Tarain, that is 1191 AD, this battle was fought between Muhammad Ghori versus Prithviraj Chauhan. Okay, Raj Chauhan. So in this battle, who won? Prithviraj Chauhan won. Okay, and he was the Rajput ruler. So here the correct answer will be Prithviraj Chauhan. But in 1192 AD, that is second battle of Tarain, who won in this? This was fought between Muhammad Ghori versus Prithviraj Chauhan, but in this battle Muhammad Ghori won. Okay, now in the 11th century, under Mahmud of Ghazni, a small town in which place became the capital of the vast empire of the Ghaznavids. Okay, you know that Muhammad Ghazni, he was the first Turkish invader. okay. And he came, basically his purpose was to do some kind of to take wealth of our country, okay. He came here for loot and all. So here the correct answer will be this city, that is Ghazni. This was a small town and it was situated in Afghanistan, okay. At that time Afghanistan was also a part of Indian subcontinent, but here the correct answer will be option number C, that is Afghanistan, okay. Next, in which year Timur's invasion of Delhi took place? Okay, so Timur invaded Delhi during 1398. In that time period, there was a rule of Delhi Sultanate. Delhi Sultanate, and which dynasty was ruling? In this time, it was Tughlaq dynasty. Okay, Tughlaq dynasty. Okay, let's talk about the dynastical reign of Delhi Sultanate. Okay, so there was five dynasties who ruled Delhi Sultanate, and first of all we have slave dynasty. Okay, slave dynasty. Then we have Khilji dynasty. Next we have Tughlaq. Okay, Tughlaq dynasty. Then we have Sayyid. Then we have Lodi dynasty. Now, so it was a kind of tree of the Delhi Sultanate, and you will see that after the in Lodi dynasty there was a ruler. His name was Ibrahim Lodi. Okay, Ibrahim Lodi. There was a battle. It was Battle of Panipat. Battle of Panipat. Okay, or you can also say it first Battle of Panipat, which was fought between Babur and Ibrahim Lodi, in which Ibrahim Lodi got defeated. Okay, so Ibrahim Lodi, basically defeated. He got defeated, and Babur won. And after that, on Delhi, basically there was a rule of Mughal. So Mughal dynasty established. Mughal empire was established by Babur at that time period. Okay, so and this was the in that time, the time was 1526 AD. Okay, now next we have, consider the following statement regarding writers of the Delhi Sultanate period. Okay, so you know that at that time there were a lot of writers who used to write to, like, what are the administration, how the people are living, okay, how the ruler is there. So these things were mentioned by these writers. Okay, now we have to say which is the correct one. First of all, we have Tabaqat-e-Nasri. Okay, Tabaqat-e-Nasri, written in Persian language by Minhaj-us-Siraj. Yes, this is correct answer because this book is written by Minhaj-us-Siraj. Okay, next we have Hasan Nizami wrote Fatwa-e-Jahandari, regarded as the first official history of Delhi Sultanate. No, this statement is incorrect, but because Fatwa-e-Jahandari was basically written by Ziauddin Barini, not Hasan Nizami. Okay, so this is incorrect. Next we have Ziauddin Barani authored Taj ul Masir during the reign of Iltutmish. See here, statements has been basically, the statements were switched because this Taj ul Masir, it was written by Hasan Nazimi. Okay, Hasan Nizami. So here the correct answer will be option number A, that is only one is the correct answer. I hope you understood this. This Taj ul Masir was written by Hasan Nizami, and Fatwa-e-Jahandari, okay, it was written by Ziauddin Barani. Okay, Ziauddin Barani. Remember this? Now, next we have, and he also wrote what? Tariq-e-Firozshahi. Okay, Tariq-e-Firozshahi. You can remember this as well. Now, next we have, consider the following statement regarding provincial architecture in medieval India and choose the correct options. Okay, so we are given some options and which are basically regarding the architecture. Okay, so first option we have, Bengal and Jaunpur developed distinct architectural styles separate from the Delhi Sultanate. Okay, so is this statement correct? You know that in that time period, like Bengal and Jaunpur, so these were the kind of distinctive architectural style, because in Delhi Sultanate there were all Muslim rulers. Okay, so definitely there is architectural style will be different. So this is basically correct one. Next we have regional regional styles often blended Islamic structures with local artistic traditions. Yes, because they had taken some styles which are very much prevalent in those Arab and Turkish nations. Okay, but now they had just blended with local architectural style, and they both mix of this, we got a different kind of style. Okay, Provincial styles remained completely uniform across all regions of India. No, this is incorrect because it was not completely uniform. Okay, it basically changed from one reign to another. Okay, so here the correct answer will be option number B, that is 1 and 2 is the correct one. Ibn Battuta, who visited India during Delhi Sultanate, originally belonged to which country? Okay, Ibn Battuta, he was the great traveler and he came India during the time period of Muhammad bin Tughlaq. Muhammad bin Tughlaq. Okay, Tughlaq. He was also considered as wisest fool because he had a plan, but he didn't know how to execute these plans. So he took very revolutionary decisions at that time. Like he introduced token system. Okay, like a token system of currency, and he shifted his capital from Delhi to Delhi to Daulatabad. Okay, so this kind of decisions which were kind of very absurd. Okay, because if you want to rule, you can rule from Delhi also. In today's time also, you know that the center of the power is Delhi, but still we have covered the whole northeastern area, western part, and the southern part. Okay, we can rule from anywhere, but he just thought that okay, if we want to rule the whole country or take the control of whole country, we will have to shift towards the south. Okay, in the kind of towards the starting of the south. That was a very kind of a blender. That was a kind of blender for him, and so it all these things are mentioned and by Ibn Battuta. Okay, so he basically came from Morocco. Okay, correct answer is option number B. Next. During the Sultanate of Delhi, the term ulema was associated with whom? Okay, which person's term was basically ulema? So ulema was said to the learned theologians and jurists. Okay, so very knowledgeable person who were very knowledgeable person, kind of in Muslims basically. You know that like kind of Maulana and all these things are there. So they were known as a ulema. Okay, and jurist basically the person who is very much intellectual or very much aware about the justice system. Okay, next. Consider the following statement regarding political rivalries in early medieval India. So what kind of political rivalries were there? So as I told you, we have witnessed tripartite struggle in northern India. Okay, and in that tripartite struggle, we had Rashtrakuta, we had Palas, and we had Pratiharas. Okay, so let's talk about the options. The Rashtrakutas launched several campaigns to gain control over the region of Kannauj. Yes, this statement is perfectly true. Why this is so? Because in that time period, they were struggling for taking the control of Kannauj, and this campaign was very much started by Rashtrakutas. Even Rashtrakutas were the only southern kingdom which was very much interested towards the North Indian administration or North Indian region. Okay. Next, we have a second statement. The Pratiharas were primarily based in Eastern India. No, Pratiharas were basically established in Western India. Okay, Western India. And in Eastern India, we had Palas. Okay, Palas, whose founder was Gopal. Okay. So here, this is incorrect because this statement has been switched. Okay, so Palas were basically they are in eastern side, and Pratiharas were in western side. Okay, so here the correct answer will be option number A. Only statement 1 is correct. Okay, next. Consider the following statement regarding Balban and Bengal. Okay, you know that Balban was ruler in which dynasty? He was a ruler from slave dynasty. He himself was also a slave. Okay, he was a part of Chehalgani. What is Chehalgani? Basically, it was a group of 40 people, and this was established by whom? It was established by Iltutmish. Okay, it was established by Iltutmish. Remember this also. Now, so Balban, he also introduced the policy of what? Sajda and Pebos. Okay, so like it was a thing that if someone will come, he will bend down and basically kiss the feet of a king. Okay, so it was Sajda and Pebos. This was a kind of Persian culture, but he introduced this in Delhi Sultanate. Okay, first option, the first statement that we have: after the revolt and death of Tughril Beg, Balban appointed his son Bughra Khan as the governor of Bengal. Okay, so this statement is correct because there was a revolt over there, and the his son basically he went there and he basically suppressed the revolt. Because of this, he was made the governor of Bengal. He was appointed as a governor of Bengal. Okay, this statement is correct. Now we have Balwam introduced the practice of jizya tax on Hindus as part of his theory of kingship. No, his theory of kingship was what? His theory of kingship was to introduce the sajda and pabos policy. Just he wanted that the king should be respected and this respect should be seen. Okay, so this statement is incorrect. So option number here only one is the correct. Okay, so statement one is true. Option number C is the correct answer. Okay, only statement one is true but two is false. Okay, Jajia was there, still Jajia was there from a very long time. Okay, next we have under the Delhi Sultanate, a religious tax was introduced which imposed on wealthy and rich Muslims in India. Okay, so you know that jizya tax were on Hindus, only Hindus, on Hindus. Okay, to follow their own religion. But now there was another religious tax which was there on Muslims also, but the class was what? It was on rich class. Okay, so correct answer over here will be here will be zakat. Okay, zakat is the correct answer. It was a tax which was imposed on wealthy Muslims. Okay, next. Consider the following statement regarding the dynasties of Delhi Sultanate. Okay, we are given some statement. First of all, we have the Mamluk dynasty, that is slave dynasty, is also known as the Mamluk dynasty, was the first dynasty of Delhi Sultanate founded by Qutbuddin Aibak in 1206. Yes, the time period of slave dynasty, it was from 1206 to 1290. Okay, and you will see it was established by Qutbuddin Aibak in 1206, and Qutbuddin Aibak took the title of Lakh Baksh. Lakh Baksh. Okay, so he was kind of he used to donate a lot of things. Okay, that's why he is known as a Lakh Baksh. Okay, so this statement is correct. The Khilji dynasty ruled from 1320 to 1414. No, this time period is wrong because Khiljis they ruled on Delhi Sultanate from 1219 to 1320. Okay, so here this is incorrect. Next we have the Lodi dynasty was the last dynasty of Delhi Sultanate ruling from 1451 to 1526. Yes, this is correct. So let's write down the time period of all dynasties. First of all, we have slave dynasty. We have slave dynasty. They were from 1206 to 1290. Okay, next we have Khilji. Okay, Khilji dynasty. Khilji dynasty, they were from 1290 to 1320. Then we have Tughlaq. Tughlaq dynasty, they were from 1320 to 1414. Okay, next we have Sayyid dynasty. Sayyid, it was founded by whom? Founded by Khizr Khan. Okay, and it was from 1414 to 1451. Okay, next we have then we have what? We have Lodi dynasty. Lodi dynasty, they ruled from 1451 to 1520. Okay, let's talk about their founders also. Founders. So when you talk about the slave dynasty, the founder was Qutbuddin Aibak. Okay, it was Qutbuddin Aibak. Next we have Khiljis. It was Jalaluddin Khilji. Jalaluddin Khilji. Okay. Then we have Tughlaqs. The founder was who? The founder was Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq. Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq. Okay. Next we have Sayyid. Founder Khizr Khan. Khizr Khan. Okay. And Lodi, the founder was Behlul Lodi. Behlul Lodi. Okay. Now, and last ruler was Ibrahim Lodi. Okay, he was the last ruler of Delhi Sultanate also, and last ruler of Lodi dynasty also. Okay, now next question we have, consider the following statement regarding Vijayanagar Empire. Okay, so we are given some statement regarding the Vijayanagar Empire. As you know that at that time in which Delhi Sultanate was flourishing in North India. Okay, in the same way in South India there was a very important dynasty, and it was Vijayanagar Empire. Okay, Vijayanagar Empire, it was founded by Harihar and Bukka. Harihar and Bukka. Okay, in 1336. Remember this. Now we are given some statement regarding this empire. First of all, we have The Vijayanagar Empire was established in 1336 during the reign of Muhammad bin Tughlaq. Yes, this statement is correct because obviously this was established during this time period also, and this was one of reason because of which Muhammad bin Tughlaq wanted to shift his capital from Delhi to Daulatabad. Okay, its capital was Madurai. No, this statement is incorrect because this its capital was Vijayanagar. Okay, its capital was Vijayanagar. So correct answer is option number A, that is only one is correct. Which of the following statements systems of Delhi Sultanate had an influence on the Bahmani and Vijayanagar kingdom? Okay, so what was the thing of Delhi Sultanate which was introduced in South India also by, or you can say which was introduced by South Indian rulers also? Okay, in Delhi Sultanate there was a very famous system and it was Ikta system. What is Ikta system? It was introduced by Iltutmish. Okay, and basically let's say there's a person or kind of army commander. There was an army commander. Basically he was given some part of land, and he was granted permission that he can collect taxes or taxes from this land, from this part of land. Okay, from this part of land, and by this revenue he will have to manage an army. Okay, a group of people, an army. He will have to take care of all these peoples. Okay, so this was introduced by Iltutmish, and this system was Iqtidari system, and later on it was also adopted by South Indian rulers. Okay, next, in reference of the Delhi Sultanate, what was the group of 40? You know that group of 40 was what? It was Chehalgani. Okay, so regarding this group of 40, we have given some statement. First of all, we have they were mostly powerful Turkish slaves of Iltutmish. Yes, because Iltutmish itself was a Turkish ruler. Okay, so this group was basically a group of Turkish people who took power in the interim following Sultan Razia's killing. Yes, you know that Razia Sultan, she was the first Muslim ruler. Okay, and basically he ruled from 1236 to 1240. She was the able ruler, but because she was a female. Okay, so people were kind of very much upset about this, that why like how a woman basically can rule. Okay, so that was the kind of because of this she was basically killed in a conspiracy. But it was correct that Turkish slaves, they took over the charge. After this Razia Sultan's decline only, Balban also came into the power, and Balban basically he just abolished this Chehalgani system. Okay, now so this is incorrect. Yeah, this is correct. Okay, so this will be correct as I told you. Now next we have, they were 40 military archers who distinguished themselves by their bravery in Delhi Sultanate. They were not kind of archers. Okay, so this is incorrect. They were 40 Banjaras? No. They were 40 Rajput noble? No. So correct answer will be option number A. Next, which of the following departments of Delhi Sultanate was reorganized by Balban? Okay, which department was reorganized by Balban? So Balban organized the military department. Okay, military department, and it was known as what? Diwane Arj. Okay, option number B is the correct answer. He basically strengthened the army at that time. Which of the following statement about the Mughal Mansabdari system is correct? You know that in Delhi Sultanate there was a system of Ikta. Okay, in the same way in Mughal Empire there was a system of what? Mansabdari. It was a kind of rank. Okay, like in this time period we have a grade, that is 1800 grade pay. Then you have what? You have let's talk about 2400. Then we have 4600. Okay, then 4800, 5400. So it's a rank. Okay, in which like there's the salary is given on this basis only. Okay, so Mansabdari was also a kind of rank. Okay, which was introduced by Mughals. So first option that we have, a Mansab indicated both the rank and salary of the noble. Yes, because you will get the salary because of your rank only. Okay, what rank do you have, what Mansab system in which category you fall, you will get the salary according to this, that only. So correct answer is option number statement 1 is obviously correct. Now every Mansabdar was required to reside personally in the Jagir whose revenue he drew. Okay, so this statement is incorrect because he can stay anywhere, but he will get the salary or he will get the power because of it Mansab. Okay, so revenue collection was not his function. Okay, so correct answer is option number A, that is only one is correct. Okay, next, Who among the following was the daughter of Iltutmish, a ruler of slave Mamluk dynasty? Okay, so daughter of Iltutmish, she was Razia Sultan. Razia Sultan. As I told you, she was the first and last Muslim ruler. First and last Muslim ruler of medieval India, you can say, of medieval India. Okay, and she was Razia Sultan. Basically, she ruled for 4 years, 1236 to 1240. Okay, next. The first southern campaign of Alauddin Khilji in 1307 to 8 was led to which of the following regions? Okay, so this invasion was done by Alauddin Khilji, and it was a kind of first expedition, first major expedition in South India. Expedition in South India. Okay, South India. And you know that in this kind of expedition, he basically invaded Devgiri. Okay, Devgiri was kind of Daulatabad only, it was a different name of Daulatabad. Okay, and at that time in Devgiri, who were ruling? Yadavas were ruling. Okay, next. Consider the following statement about the market reforms of Delhi Sultanate. You know that in the Delhi Sultanate, Alauddin Khilji played a very key role in establishing the market prices. Okay, he introduced a different system, different market system, so that everything can be on a fixed price, or the price can be regulated. Basically, he regulated the price of things. Okay, so first of all, we have Alauddin Khilji set up three separate markets in Delhi for grain, yes, for cloth and horse and slaves and cattle. Yes, he established three different kind of markets, and he also appointed some spy who will regulate, or who will basically check the prices of different things in different market. Okay, so this statement is correct. Now we have the market superintendent appointed by Alauddin Khilji was called Diwane Arj. No, he was known as not Diwane Arj. Diwane Arj was department established by Balban. There was a market superintendent, but he was known as what? He was known as Sahnai Mandi. Sahnai Mandi. Okay, Sahnai Mandi. So correct answer is option number A only, that is 1 is the correct one. Okay, Diwane Arj was department established by Balban. Okay, next we have which of the following sultans of Delhi set up the officers like Barid, intelligence officer, Munihans, secret spies to control the market? As I told you, Alauddin Khilji is very famous for his market reforms. Okay, so this was done by Alauddin Khilji. Correct answer is option number B, and he appointed what? Sahnai Mandi. Very important question. It was asked in SSC CGL. Okay, in CGL 2022, if I am not wrong. Okay. Next, who among the following sultans framed a series of regulations to weaken the power of nobles? Okay, who basically wanted that okay, the nobles should be less powerful than the king itself. Okay, this policy was introduced by Alauddin Khilji. Okay, so correct answer is option number C, that is Alauddin Khilji. Now, so basically what he did, so he did, let's say we have 5 nobles. Okay, you know that the nobles will be obviously the powerful people, they are very powerful, and let's say there are 2-3 nobles which are there in very important positions. So it is always a threat to the king, because if they can make a grouping and they can basically defeat the king. Okay, they can do any kind of conspiracy about the king. So it was kind of he basically banned any kind of social gathering and all. Okay, so it was done by Alauddin Khilji. Next, the Begumpuri mosque was built during the reign of which of the following rulers of Delhi Sultanate? So that mosque was Begumpuri Mosque. Okay, it was built by whom? This was built by, let's mark the answer. So this was built by Muhammad bin Tughlaq. Okay, correct answer is option number D, that is it was built by Muhammad bin Tughlaq. Okay, and where it was built? It was built in Jahanpanah. Okay, Jahanpanah. It was a new city which was built by Muhammad bin Tughlaq. Okay, now consider the following statement. Okay, first of all we have, after Harsha's death, the Rajput rose to prominence in northern Indian politics. Yes, you know that the Harshvardhan was very important ruler. Harsha. Okay, Harsha. Harsha was very important ruler. Harsha, very important ruler. But after his decline, basically, Rajput rulers, they came into the power and they basically dominated the power at that time. But they were not united. Okay, this was the problem with Rajput rulers, and because of this, that Mughals, they came and they established a very strong empire, and they ruled us for a long time. Okay, so here the correct incorrect this is incorrect, that Rajputs maintained strong unity. No, they were not united. Okay, even if they were united, then you can, if you have watched the movie Jodha Akbar, I think, yes, in that movie it is also shown that how these people were kind of in a greed of money, and they also you can say took the sovereignty of Mughals. Okay, they accepted the sovereignty of Mughals. So this is incorrect. So correct answer will be option number A, that is only one is the correct answer. Which of the following Delhi Sultans introduced two coins, namely silver tanka and copper jital? The silver coin was tanka, okay, and copper coin was jital. This was introduced by Iltutmish, okay, Iltutmish. As you know that the founder, and he was the ruler of slave dynasty. Okay, see, he was the real founder of slave dynasty. He was the real founder. Why I'm saying real founder? You know that Qutbuddin Aibak founded this dynasty, that is slave dynasty, but he didn't take the title of king, he didn't take the title of Sahinshah. Okay, because he always treated himself as a slave of Muhammad Ghori even after the death of Muhammad Ghori. Okay, so here, but Iltutmish was the first person who took the title of Sultan. He took title of Sultan. Okay, that's why he is considered the first first Sultan of Delhi Sultanate, and he also shifted the capital from Lahore to Delhi. Okay, so this is correct answer, that is Iltutmish. Next. Rajia Sultan was first and only female ruler of the Sultanate who ascended the throne in 1236 AD. Okay, so 1236 to 1240 AD. Very important questions. Okay. Next we have, consider the following statement about Amir Khusro. Okay, Amir Khusro, basically that, let's talk about his their options. He was the known as Tutiya Hind and was a disciple of Nizamuddin Aulia. Yes, he was said as a Tutiya Hind. It means the parrot of India. Okay, it means parrot of India. Okay. Now he popularized Qawwali. Okay, so he popularized Qawwali, a form of music derived from the Arabic word qawal. So this is correct answer. So both are the correct one. So option number C will be the correct answer. Next we have, who amongst the following Delhi Sultanate rulers sent his army under the Malik Kafur's command to conquer South India? You know that Malik Kafur, he was a slave, or he was kind of eunuch. Okay, and he was working under Alauddin Khilji. Okay, so correct answer will be option number C. He was a very trusted person of kind of, you can say, Alauddin Khilji. Okay, and there's a title which is given to Malik Kafur, and that is Hazar Dinari, because it is said that he was bought by Alauddin Khilji in 1,000 dinars. Okay, that's why he is known as the Hazar Dinari. Okay, now, which amongst the following sultans shifted his capital from Delhi to Daulatabad, as I told you, and he was Muhammad bin Tughlaq. Okay, Muhammad bin Tughlaq. Correct answer is option number D, MBT, and he is also known as the wisest fool. Wisest fool. He had vision, but he didn't have any kind of plan. Okay, next we have, consider the following statement. First we have, Muhammad bin Tughlaq founded the Diwan-e-Amir Kohi. Okay, this department was built by Muhammad bin Tughlaq. Yes, this particular option is true, statement is true, because he established a department named as Diwan-e-Amir Kohi. Okay, next we have, the Diwan-e-Amir Kohi was established mainly to strengthen the army. No, this department was established for strengthening the agriculture, not for army. Okay, so correct answer is option number 2. That is, sorry, 1. That is, only 1 is the correct answer. Okay. Consider the following statement. First we have, Babur was of Mongol and Timurid descent and founded the Mughal Empire after defeating Ibrahim Lodi. Babur was kind of Timur, but you know that he established what? He established this Mughal Empire in our country, but he was See, he was Mongol. So why it is written Mongol and Timurid both? You know that from his father's side he was Mongol, but from his mother's side he was Timurid. Okay, so this statement is correct. Now we have, and he defeated Ibrahim Lodi in first battle of Panipat. Okay, it was first battle of Panipat. Okay, you can write it this also. Now we have Babur was overthrown by Sher Shah. No, Babur was not overthrown by Sher Shah. Actually, Humayun was overthrown by Sher Shah. Okay, so this is incorrect. Okay, next we have correct answer will be option number A. That is only one is the correct one. Next, who invaded India during the rule of Tughlaq dynasty? So who invaded India? It was Timur. Okay, correct answer is option number A. That is you can Timur or Tamur. He basically invaded India 1398 AD. Next we have who among the following was the first Sultan of Delhi Sultanate to visit the Ajmer Shrine of Khwaja Moinuddin Chishti? Okay, who was the first person to visit that place? The person was Muhammad bin Tughlaq. Okay, correct answer is option number C. And who built this place? Okay, this Moinuddin Chishti was a kind of shrine, and he was the first person to visit this place, this holy place, that is Khwaja Moinuddin Chishti. So next we have who among the following was the last Sultan of Delhi Sultanate? Okay, very easy question. It was Ibrahim Lodi. Okay, next arrange the following rulers of Sayyid dynasty in chronological order. Okay, as I told you, first of all, this dynasty was basically they ruled from 1414 to 1451. Nowadays, this tenure can also be asked. So in the previous slide, I also wrote all the kind of all the dynasties tenure which were basically ruling in Delhi Sultanate. Okay, now the question is that who was the founder? Founder was Khizr Khan. Okay, so obviously the first one will be Khizr Khan. So these two options are gone. Okay, now and who is this like the chronological order? What is the chronological order of this dynasties? So after Khizr Khan there was Mubarak Shah. Okay, so 2 and 3, then 4 and 1, that is Khizr Khan, Mubarak Shah, then we have Muhammad Shah, and then Alauddin Alam Shah. Okay, so this is correct answer. Next we have which of the following dynasties of Delhi Sultanate finally annexed Jaunpur into the empire of Delhi Sultanate? Okay, so who annexed Jaunpur and he included that into the Delhi Sultanate? The person was Lodi dynasty. Okay, correct answer is option number A. And this Jaunpur was established by Firoz Shah Tughlaq. Tughlaq in the memory of his brother Muhammad bin Tughlaq. Okay, this city was established because the Muhammad bin Tughlaq, his childhood name or other name was Jona Khan. Okay, Jona Khan. That's why Firoz Shah Tughlaq established this city in the memory of Muhammad bin Tughlaq. Okay, but it was annexed by Lodi dynasty and it was included into Delhi Sultanate. Next question. Consider the following statement. First we have Iltutmish succeeded Qutbuddin Aibak and was later on followed by his daughter Razia. Yes, this is kind of correct. Okay, so next we have this is correct. Next we have statement 2. Razia ruled the Delhi Sultanate for several decades. No, she ruled only for 4 years. Okay, and marking one of the longest reigns of any female monarch. No, this is incorrect. So correct answer is option number A. That is only A is the correct answer. Which of the following cities of Delhi was founded by Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq? As you know that the kind of Jaunpur was established by or founded by Firoz Shah Tughlaq. Okay. In the same way, Tughlaqabad was founded by Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq. Okay. He was the founder of Tughlaq dynasty. Tughlaq dynasty. Okay. Next we have double dome feature of Indo-Islamic architecture was introduced by which dynasty of Delhi Sultanate? Okay, this double dome structure, it was established by Lodi dynasty. Okay, correct answer is option number D, that is Lodi. Okay, next. The author of Tariq-e-Mubarak Shahi, Yahya Sarhindi, claims that founder of which dynasty of Delhi Sultanate was a descendant of Prophet Muhammad. Okay, about whom this thing is said that Khizr Khan, who was the founder of Sayyid dynasty. Sayyid dynasty, he was kind of descendant of Prophet Muhammad. This is very big statement. Okay, and it was said about the founder of Sayyid dynasty. Correct answer is option number C, that is Khizr Khan. Okay, Khizr Khan. Okay, so and that book's name is Tariq-e-Mubarak Shahi. Okay. Consider the following statement. So regarding Sarki dynasty, what is Sarki dynasty? Okay, so about this dynasty we have given some statement. First of all, we have dynasty was founded by Khwaja-e-Zaham Malik Sarwar in 1394. So, and the Sarki dynasty ruled over Agra Sultanate. Yes, the dynasty came to end after the defeat of Sultan Hussein Shah of Bahlul Lodi in 1479. Okay, which of this statement is correct or incorrect? Okay, first of all, you will see that this dynasty was not founded by this was founded by Malik Sarwar. Okay, this is correct answer. Okay, now we have second dynasty ruled over Agra Sultanate. No, this ruled basically this dynasty ruled over Jaunpur, not Agra. Okay, Jaunpur. Next, this is incorrect. Now we have dynasty came to an end after defeat of Sultan Hussein Shah of by Bahlul Lodi in 1479. Yes, this is also incorrect. Okay, so only 2 and 3 are incorrect. Basically, only 1 is the correct answer. Next we have which of the following dynasties of Delhi Sultanate founded Agra city? Okay, which dynasty founded Agra city? So it was Lodi dynasty. Correct answer is option number A, that is Lodhis. Okay, and basically in Lodhis the person was Sikandar Lodi. Sikandar Lodi. Okay, he founded Agra in 1504. Founded Agra. Founded Agra. Okay. Next question. Which of the following best explains the reasons to held Kandahar is strategically important for the Mughals? Okay, so Kandahar was very important for Mughals, and like what is the reason of that? Okay, first option that we have, it provided direct naval access to the Red Sea for Mughal expeditions. No, beside Kandahar, it is no Red Sea. Okay, this is incorrect. Next, we have it served as a religious pilgrimage center linking India with Central Asian Sufi shrines. No, it was a crucial trade hub connecting the Arabian Sea with the sea with the Persian Gulf. Okay, so you know that here this statement is also incorrect. Okay, next we have it controlled key land routes between Kabul and Herat and acted as a fortified military outpost. Yes, it was strategically important because it was very important for the military, not for any other thing. Like it was not a religious pilgrimage center, not a hub connecting the trade centers. Okay, not it was not so. It does not provide any naval access. Okay, so only D is the correct answer. Next we have what led to the decline of Timurid power in second half of the 15th century. So Timurid power, basically they were ruling in that central Asia part. Okay, and why this Timurid power basically declined? Okay, so economic decline due to maritime trade shift. Then we have internal wars. Yes, internal war was the reason because they were basically were in conflict with themselves only. Okay, so correct answer is option number B, internal wars. Next question. Which of the following statement is correct regarding the regional characteristic of the medieval architecture of Gujarat? Okay, so we are given some statement regarding the architecture of Gujarat. You have to say which is the correct one. The architectural forms of Gujarat often incorporated elements of local temple traditions. As you know that after the Islamic invasion, our architecture basically it became a kind of blend. Okay, it became a blend of Indo-Islamic architecture. Like there was some Indian test to Islamic culture. Okay, so this is but in some Gujarat or some other regions where the regional empires were there, they had given the local touch always. Okay, so this is correct one. Next we have structures such as mosque and tombs in Gujarat had decorative carvings such as torans and bells. Yes, this is also correct because there were in a mosque also in tombs there was some decorative carvings and all. Next we have the architectural style of Gujarat strictly avoided any decorative influence of indigenous practices. No, Gujarat is our indigenous place and definitely their local touch will be given to this architecture. Okay, so this is incorrect. So correct answer will be option number D, that is only 1 and 2 is the correct one. Next question. Consider the following statement in the context of Mughal Empire. Okay. First we have the Mansabdari system was introduced by Akbar in 1571. This statement is correct because Mansabdari system was established by Akbar. Okay. Now, second battle of Panipat was fought in 1556. This is also correct. Okay. Second battle of Panipat was fought between Akbar and Hemu. Okay, Hemu. Next we have Mahana Pratap Singh of Mewar was a contemporary of Babur. No, Mahana Singh Pratap was contemporary of Akbar, not Babur. Okay, so correct answer will be option number B, that is both 1 and 2 are correct. Who among the following was given the charge of looking after the imperial household during the Mughal administration? Okay, like imperial household, all the household things, which this will be taken care of whom? It should be taken care of by Mir Shaman. Okay, Mir Shaman was the correct answer. So it was a kind of post which was basically responsible for looking after all the royal household things. Okay, how did the administrative rules of Rajas differ from those of Jamindars under the Mughal system? So definitely Jamindar is different and the king is different. You know that king has a lot of power. You can compare it with the recent time. Like let's say we have a prime minister, and then we have what we have. Let's say in local level we have a kind of like block development officer. So it's a very big difference between both of them. So first of all, first option that we have, Jamindars were subordinate tax officers under the Rajas appointed directly by the emperor. Yes, this is correct answer. This because they were basically appointed by the kings, and they were responsible for collecting the tax. So this is only one is the correct answer. Next. Consider the following statement regarding the battles of Babur. So Babur fought basically 4 battles in our country, and these were, let's take a list. Let's take a slide and make a list. Okay. First of all, the first was the Battle of Panipat. First Battle of Panipat. Okay. Then we have Battle of Khanwa. Okay. Then we have Battle of Chanderi. Then we have Battle of Ghagra. Now let's talk about its year. In which year it was fought? Battle of Panipat, it was fought in 1526. Okay, it was fought in 1526. Then we have Battle of Khanwa 1527. Okay, then we have Battle of Chanderi 1528. Okay, and Battle of Ghagra in 1529. Okay, now in it was basically on one side. In every battles there was Babur, and in all the 4 battles was won by Babur only. Okay, and versus, so Battle of Panipat, the opponent was Ibrahim Lodi. Ibrahim Lodi. Okay, in Battle of Khanwa, the kind of it was versus whom? Versus Rana Sanga. Okay, Rana Sanga. Battle of Khanwa between Babur and Rana Sanga. Then the Battle of Chanderi, it was between Babur and Medini Rai. Okay, Medini Rai. Medini Rai. Battle of Ghagra, it was versus whom? It was versus the Afghan rulers. Afghans. Okay. So here in all these battles, who won? The Babur won in all these battles. Okay, remember this. Now, in 1530, Babur died. Okay. So let's talk about the question now. So Battle of Khanwa 1527 was fought between Babur and Rana Sanga. Yes, this is correct because Battle of Khanwa was fought between Babur and Rana Sanga. This statement is correct. Then we have the second Battle of Panipat 1527 was fought between Babur and Hemu. No, second Battle of Panipat was fought in 1556, not 1527. So this is correct, but the year is incorrect. Okay, so correct answer will be option number C, that is statement 1 is correct but statement 2 is incorrect. Next we have, who among the following was the guru of Tansen? Tansen, very famous or very important singer. Okay, Tansen, and he was basically a kind of who was basically the guru of Tansen. Okay, so correct answer will be, see, Tansen was in which court? So he was in Akbar's court. Okay, he was one of his 9 jewels. Very important musician, and his guru was Swami Haridas. Okay, option number D is correct answer. Next question. Consider the following statement about Bibi Ka Maqbara. Okay, so Bibi Ka Maqbara, it is considered as a duplicate of Taj Mahal. It is also known as a duplicate duplicate of Taj Mahal. Okay. So, Bibi Ka Maqbara, it was built by Aurangzeb in Aurangabad in the memory of his wife. Okay. So, it was built by Mughal Emperor Aurangzeb in memory of his wife. This is correct. It is located in Chhatrapati Sambhajinagar and is called the Taj Mahal of the Deccan. Yes, this is also correct. Okay. So, both statement or now next question, next statement we have. It was constructed in the early 1500s during Babur's reign. No, this is incorrect. So, only A 1 and 2 are correct. Okay, option number A will be the correct answer. Next, consider the following statement regarding mosque of Delhi Sultanate. So we are given some statement regarding the mosques. Okay, so first of all we have Maut Ki Masjid. Okay, in Delhi was built during the Lodi dynasty. Yes, this statement is correct because it was built by Lodhis. Okay, correct answer is option number A. Then we have Begumpuri Mosque in Delhi was constructed during the reign of Lodhis. Okay, see, Begumpuri Mosque was not built during the Lodi dynasty. It was built by Tughlaqs. Okay, it was built by Tughlaqs, not by Lodhis. Okay, so only one is the correct answer, that is option number A. Consider the following statement regarding foreign travelers to India. Okay, so you know that in India a lot of foreign travelers they came and they basically documented all the incidents or everything which was there in that time period. Okay, so regarding this we are given some statement. First of all we have Jean Baptiste Jean Baptiste Tavernier, a French jeweler traveled to India several times during the Mughal period, especially in the reign of Shah Jahan. Yes, Jean Baptiste, basically he traveled during the reign of Akbar a lot. Okay, or during the reign of Shah Jahan. Okay, a lot. Then we have Antonio Monserrat was a Spanish missionary who came to India during the reign of Shah Jahan. No, he came to India but in the reign of Akbar, not in the reign of Shah Jahan. Okay, so this statement is incorrect. So correct answer will be option number A, that is one only is the correct answer. Medini Rai of Chanderi, Hassan Khan of Mebat, Mahmud Lodi joined Rana Sanga with their forces to fight against which of the following Mughal rulers? Okay, so in the battle, you know that Medini Rai of Chanderi, they all integrated themselves and they fought a battle against whom? Against Babur. Okay, option number A is the correct answer, and this incident was Battle of Khanba. Battle of Khanba. Okay, we primarily see that in Battle of Khanba, basically who fought? So they fought basically. It was between like it was Babur and Rana Sanga, but all these rulers also they came together and they participated or they fought on behalf of Rana Sanga. Okay. Next, the real name of Babur, the founder of Mughal dynasty in India was. So real name of Babur is Jahiruddin Muhammad. Okay, so option number A is the correct answer. The real name was Jahiruddin Muhammad. The Battle of Khanwa was fought between the forces of the Babur and Rajputs forces led by between Rana Sanga. Correct answer is option number B. Okay. How did the administrative roles of king differ from those of zamindars? So this is the kind of repeated question, and why this is kind of you can say they differ. So they differed because zamindars were subordinate officers. Okay, they were the tax officials. Their function was to collect taxes. Okay, their function was not to rule but to collect taxes. But king was meant to rule. Okay. Next, name the Mughal emperor known for promoting Persian art and literature. Who promoted Persian art and literature? Okay, it was promoted by Humayun. Option number A is the correct answer. But other than this, there are some rulers who are famous for certain things. Let's say Shah Jahan. Shah Jahan is famous for architecture, so he built a lot of structures in our country. Let's say Taj Mahal. Okay, Taj Mahal. You have what? You have Red Fort. So all these structures were built by whom? Built by Shah Jahan. He also built this peacock throne. Okay. Now, Akbar was very famous for being a tolerant ruler. Means he basically introduced the policy of tolerance towards the non-Muslims also. Okay. Now Jahangir is famous for his paintings because he was very interested in paintings. Okay. So correct answer will be option number A, that is Humayun. Next, Sher Khan defeated Humayun in the Battle of Chausa and Kannauj and forced him to flee too. So, in Sher Khan, or you can say the Sher Sasuri, he defeated Humayun in both Battle of Chausa, fought in 1539, and Battle of Kannauj, 1540. So, in these two battles, Sher Sasuri or Sher Khan, he defeated Humayun, and then Humayun flee to which particular country? He flew to Iran. Okay, option number C is the correct answer. As per the Timurid tradition, Humayun had to share power with his brothers. Okay, Humayun had the control of Delhi, Agra, and central India, while his brother Kamran controlled which of the following regions? Okay, so in Timurid tradition, so brothers they don't basically they were kind of very tolerant towards each other, so they used to rule different parts. Okay, so Humayun took the control of Delhi, Agra, and central India, which eventually led to the foundation of Mughal Empire. But his brother Kamran, he controlled which region? So Kamran basically controlled the Afghanistan and Punjab region, kind of western part. Okay, correct answer is option number A. Next we have, consider the following statement regarding the provincial architecture in medieval India and choose correct one. First statement we have, Bengal and Jaunpur developed distinctive architectural style distinct from those of Delhi Sultanate. Yes, obviously they had some regional taste or more of a regional taste. Okay, then regional styles remained fairly consistent across all regions of India. No, obviously we have different structure, different language, different way of forming a structure. Even in today's world, you know that in South India the temple architecture is different. It is Nagar style. Okay, in South India we have what? We have Dravid style. Okay, Dravid style, and in Central India we have the which type of architecture? It is Besara style. Okay, Besara style. So in today's world it is different. So obviously at that time also, with change of place, the architectural style should change. Okay, so this is incorrect. The regional styles often blended Islamic architecture with local artistic tradition. Yes, there was some Islamic tradition which was brought by Muslim rulers, but here after coming to India, they basically blended these styles with the regional taste. Okay, so both these statements are correct. Option number B will be the correct answer. Next we have, consider the following statement. First we have, Battle of Chausa was fought between Humayun and Sher Suri in 1539. Yes, this is correct. Sher Suri was defeated by Humayun in the Battle of Chausa. Sher Suri was not defeated. Basically, Humayun got defeated. Okay, in Battle of Chausa also. But correct answer is option number A only. That is statement 1 is true. Statement 1 is true, R is false. Option number C is the correct answer. Then we have, consider the following statement regarding the use of gunpowder in North India. Okay, gunpowder was basically it was introduced by Babur in our country. Okay, so Babur made the use of gunpowder common in North India to defeat his enemies, because at that time we were not that much advanced. Okay, you know that Babur came to India and he defeated our rulers, and not only in one war but in 4 battles. Okay, it was a very big thing, and he popularized the use of gunpowder. Okay, then so this is correct. Next we have, Ibrahim Lodi introduced gunpowder in Deccan region for the first time. No, it was not Ibrahim Lodi, it was Babur who introduced gunpowder to Indian rulers. Okay, so only one is correct answer, R is false. Statement 1 is true and statement 2 is false. Which of the following cities was built by Humayun in Delhi? So Humayun established a city in Delhi, and it was Din Panah. Okay, option number B is the correct one. Which Mughal emperor did Maharana Pratap face in the Battle of Haldighati? Okay, so in Battle of Haldighati, basically, like Maharana Pratap, he faced whom? He faced Akbar. Okay, correct answer is option number A. But Akbar was not directly fighting this particular battle. It was led by Man Singh. Man Singh, he was also a Rajput ruler. Man Singh. Okay, Man Singh. On the other side, there was very famous ruler, and he was Maharana Pratap. Okay, so correct answer is option number A, that is Akbar, because Man Singh was fighting on behalf of Akbar. Arrange the following Mughal emperors in chronological order of their rule. Okay, first of all, here we will arrange it. So the founder was Babur, so obviously 3 will be the first one, so these 2 are incorrect. So first of all you will have 3, that is Babur. Then we have Humayun, 3-2. So correct answer is option number A, that is 3-2. Then we have Akbar, and then we have Shah Jahan. Okay, 3-2-1-4. Now we are given some assertion region, you have to answer which is correct or not. First we have designating Good Friday as a positive term is universally accepted among Christian scholars and traditions. Okay, so Good Friday is basically celebrated by Christians. It is correct, but it is kind of, you can say, it's a it is not a kind of positive term. It symbolizes the sacrifice. Okay, it symbolizes the sacrifice, not the, it is not celebrated for the good reason. Okay, so it is, reason is incorrect, incorrect, this is incorrect. Then we have the day is called good to reflect the positive religious meanings of the sacrificial death of Jesus, because on that day only Jesus Christ was dead. But it is basically celebrated to send the message that, okay, how he sacrificed his life. Okay, so the, like the kind of the like, you can say the it basically, this statement wants to deliver a positive message. Okay, but it is not celebrated for a positive cause. Okay, so correct answer is option number here A is false. Okay, A is false, R is true, option number D is the correct one. Akbar's first expedition towards Deccan was sent to Ahmednagar under the leadership of Prince Murad and whom? Okay, so when Akbar sat on a throne, he was just 13 years old. Okay, 13 years old. So obviously he can't fight the battle. So on behalf of Akbar, two persons were fighting for him. He was Prince Murad and Abdul Rahim Khane Khana. Okay, option number B is the correct one. In which state of India is Sher Shah's tomb located? So Sher Shah's tomb is located in Bihar. Bihar, the place is Sasaram. Okay, Sasaram. And he also built which this is Grand Trunk Road. Trunk Road. Okay, this was built by kind of Sher Shah. Okay. Which of the following statement best describes the sweeping geopolitical shifts brought about by decisive defeat of the Nawab of Carnatic army in confrontation with the European powers? So this question is not specifically from the, you can say, the medieval history, but this question is from kind of modern history, but we have taken it, so definitely we will solve this question. So first of all, whenever you see such type of questions, please read the questions very with a very with a lot of patience, because you may get to the answer, but first of all you will have to read the questions properly. Okay, first option we have, it exposed systematic weakness of the native military structure, prompting European companies to shift from trade to political hegemony. So this question basically says that, like, how these Indian rulers, they got shipped out by kind of by European powers. Okay, because see, they came here for trade, not to rule. Okay, but eventually they took the advantage, and they basically understood the process, like how we can be controlled, and then they ruled us for 200 years. Okay, so this is because they understood the weakness of our rulers, that we were not united. Okay, so that unity, in unity we have a lot of power, but when we just divide ourselves, then we but just weaken. Okay, and other people, they can get advantage of it. Okay, so here this is this statement is itself is correct answer, that is, it exposed systematic weakness in native military structure. Who among the following was Vakil under the reign of Mughal Emperor Akbar, who received title of Khane Khana? Okay, so basically Khane Khana was title was given to whom? This title was given to Bairam Khan. Okay, option number D is the correct answer, and it is like Bairam Khan was very very important in initial days of Akbar, because he basically, so at that time, that Akbar was just 13 years of age. If Bairam Khan wanted, he can be the ruler at that time. Okay, so but he basically he was very much loyal towards his kind of kings. So but he basically fought battles, and he took care of Akbar in initial days. Okay, then which Mughal emperor is known for his extensive autobiography Tujuk-e Jahangiri? Okay, that this is autobiography. Definitely if there is an autobiography, it will be written by the person himself. Okay, so Tujuk-e Jahangiri was written by Jahangir. Okay, option number A is the correct answer. One more ruler wrote his autobiography, and he was Babur. Okay, Babur wrote the autobiography, and it was Babar Nama. Okay, Babar Nama. Next question. Consider the following statement about the Bhakti movement. Okay, so regarding Bhakti movement, what are the options that we have to say that is it is correct? See, Bhakti movement was started to change the way we are devoted to the God. Okay, so it basically challenged some superstitions and all, and they wanted to like basically bought change. Okay, they wanted to bring change basically in our social in religious reforms. Okay, in religious things. So first of all, we have it emphasized devotion to the personal God. Yes, like if you know that if someone wants to like follow the God in their own way, they can follow, there's no problem in that. Okay, basically it liberalized the policy. Okay, first of all, second we have it discriminated or it rejected caste distinction and ritualism. Yes, it discriminated this. It was confined only to South India? No, it was there in North India also, not only in South India. So it was spread across all India. So correct answer is here is option number B, A, that is only 1 and 2 is the correct answer. Okay, so this is also correct. Okay, that is it basically it did reject any kind of caste or system. This is also correct. Next we have, consider the following statement about Akbar's Navrat. You know that there was nine jewels in Akbar's court. Okay, and all the Akbar's administrative things, it was basically taken by Akbar. He got inspired from Sher Shah Suri, and in the same way he started his administrative journey. Okay, so first of all we have Tansen. So nine jewels were the kind of group of nine people, nine important people for Akbar. Okay, so Tansen originally named Ramtanu Pandey. Yes, it is very important question that what is the original name of Tansen? It is original name of Tansen is Ramtanu Pandey. Very important. Okay, was one of the Navratna in the Akbar's court. Yes, this statement is correct. He was one of the Navratnas. Amir Khusro was also one of the Navratna of Akbar. Yes, Amir Khusro was also one of his Navratna. Okay, so here the correct answer is option number. Sorry. Amir Khusro was not Navratna of Akbar. Okay, he was basically in the rule of Delhi Sultanate, not in the reign of Akbar. Okay, so here correct answer is option number A. That is option number C. That is statement 1 is true, 2 is false. Next we have, which amongst the following statement is correct regarding Mughal Emperor Akbar? Okay, so first we have he founded a new religion called Din-e-Ilahi. Yes, this is correct because he founded a religion, but the only follower of this religion was Birbal. Okay, Birbal was the only follower of this religion. He fought and won the third battle of Panipat. No, it was second battle of Panipat. He declared emperor in 1602. No, he was highly educated and knew many languages. No, because he basically became king at the age of 13 years, so he was not that much knowledgeable at all. He had a knowledge about the administration, obviously. That's why he ruled for such a long time. Okay, he ruled for almost 49 years. Okay, next, consider the following statement about Alauddin Khilji. Okay, so we are given some statement about Alauddin Khilji. You know that Alauddin Khilji is very famous for his market control measures. Okay, so first statement we have, he introduced market control measures to regulate prices. Correct. He abolished the Ikta system completely. Did he abolish Ikta system? No, not at all. Okay, he didn't abolish the Ekta system completely. He maintained a large standing army. Yes, this is correct because he also introduced the concept of dag. Okay, dag, or you can say dag was basically given so that he also started to give salary to the army personnel, salary to the army personnel. Okay, and he said that okay, we will basically make a mark on horses. Okay, so that we can identify the horses in the battle. Okay, that is which one is our horses. Okay, so 1 and 3 are correct, so option number A will be the correct answer. After the death of Humayun, the 13-year-old Akbar was coronated in 1556 at Kallanor Inn. So where is Kallanor? Kallanor is in Punjab. Okay, so basically Akbar was coronated at the age of 13 years of age and in Kallanor. Next we have, consider the following statement regarding the succession of Shah Jahan. Okay, so like how Shah Jahan became the ruler of Delhi, of Mughal time period. Okay, So first of all, first statement we have that Shah Jahan chose his eldest son Darasiko as his successor to the Mughal throne. Yes, it is correct because Darasiko, basically Shah Jahan had four sons. Okay, out of this, Darasiko was one of the eldest child. Okay, that's why he wanted that Darasiko should be the king of or kind of next king of Mughal empire. Okay, but you know that Darasiko was defeated. So here it is written that Darasiko was defeated. Darasiko was defeated. He basically Aurangzeb won. Okay, so statement is written incorrect. That is, Darasiko was defeated by Aurangzeb in the Battle of Devrai. Okay, and then Aurangzeb became ruler. Okay, so this is incorrect. Option number, like here only one is true. Okay, statement one is true, two is false. Okay, then next we have, consider the following statement regarding Amar Singh of Mewar. Okay, we are given some statement about Amar Singh of Mewar. Now you have to choose the correct answer. First we have, Amar Singh was the son of Rana Sanga and accepted Mughal service during the reign of Aurangzeb. Okay, is this correct? No. See, Amar Singh was the son of not Rana Sanga, but he was the son of Mahana Pratap. Okay, so you can write it here, son of Mahana Pratap, Maharana Pratap. Okay, next we have, Amar Singh was the Sisodiya ruler of Mebar who surrendered to Akbar in 1600. No, like the Maharana Pratap, you will say the Rana, they were not, they basically they never surrendered with the Mughals. Okay, so this is also incorrect. So here you can say, but his son basically came into a treaty. He didn't surrender, basically he came into a treaty with Aurangzeb, not with Akbar. Okay, so this is incorrect. So option number C is correct. One statement one is true and two is false. Okay, this statement is correct. Oh, sorry, this statement is also incorrect. Okay, as I told you. So here the correct answer will be both are false. Next we have, who succeeded in securing trading consensus for the East India Company from Mughal Emperor Jahangir. Basically, which foreigner basically get the permission to start trading with our country. So he was Thomas Roe. Okay, so option number D is the correct answer. Thomas Roe arrived in a like Jahangir's court to take the permission to trade. Okay. Which one of the following statement accurately describes a feature of the Vijayanagar Empire? So we are given some statement about the Vijayanagar Empire. We have to say which is the correct one. First we have, the Hazrat Ram temple was a public temple for commoners. Correct. See, this Hazrat temple was there, but this was a kind of it was not a kind of feature basically. Okay, you can write here it is asking about the feature. So let's discuss other options also. Lotus temple shows clear Persian architecture influence. Okay, then we have the Mahanavami Dibba is topped by stone superstructure. The city's sacred center lay north to the Tungabhadra. See, even you see the options, then you will see that all options are kind of correct, but here the thing is that it is saying that which is the feature of Vijayanagar Empire. So out of all these, the feature is the Lotus temple, Lotus, not Lotus Mahal, shows the clear Persian and architectural influence. Okay, this is correct answer over here. So it basically shows the Indo-Islamic architectural form. Sarai Nur Mahal is centrally protected monument of India, is situated in which state? Okay, Sarai Nur Mahal, it is located in Punjab. Okay, in Punjab it is in Jalandhar. Next we have, Mehrunisha married Emperor Jahangir. Mehrunisha was basically married to Jahangir in 1611. Okay, correct answer is option number C. Then Jahangir gave the title of Nur Jahan to Mehrunisha. Okay, next. Consider the following statement regarding South Indian dynasties in 12th and 13th centuries. Okay, so we are given some statement regarding the South Indian dynasties. First of all, we have the Kakatiyas ruling from Manyakhet were the primary successors to the later Chalukyas in the Western Deccan. Okay, see here. Here Kakatiyas were not the successors of later Chalukyas. Okay, so they were basically, see, first of all, statement 1 is incorrect because the Kakatiyas were not ruling from Manikhet. So they were basically, their capital city was Warangal, not Warangal, not Manikhet. Okay, and you know that they were not successors of Chalukyas. The successor of Chalukyas were Yadavas. Okay, Yadavas, not the Kakatiyas. Okay, that's why this statement is incorrect. Now we have the Hoysalas based in Devgiri were the sole dynasty responsible for the complete overthrow of the later Chalukyas across all their territories. See, Hoysalas were not based on Devgiri, but their capital city was Dwar Samudram. Okay, so the capital city was Dwar Samudram. Samudra, okay, not the not Devgiri, okay. So that's why this is incorrect, and this was not the only reason responsible for overthrow of Chalukyas. That's why this is also incorrect. So correct answer will be option number D, that is neither one nor two is correct. Next we have, who among the following wrote the biography of Jahangir known as Iqbal Nama e Jahangiri? As I told you, Jahangir also wrote his own book and his own biography, and it is Jahangir Nama. Okay, Jahangir Nama. Jahangir Nama, or you can say this was written by Jahangir himself. It was a kind of autobiography for him. But if Iqbal Nama, it was a kind of chronicle of his administration, and it was built by it was sorry written by which person, and the person was here the person was the Mutamid Khan. Okay, Mutamid Khan. Correct answer is option number A. Next we have, identify the Mughal emperor who was imprisoned for the rest of his life in Agra after the war of succession among his son. Okay, so you know that Shah Jahan had four sons. Okay, Shah Jahan had four sons, and like here Aurangzeb, because see, Shah Jahan wanted Dara Shikoh to be the next ruler. Okay, Dara Shikoh, because he was the eldest son, but Aurangzeb was very ambitious and he wanted to rule. So because of this, Battle of Devrai was fought between Aurangzeb and Dara Shikoh, and he defeated Dara Shikoh. That's why Aurangzeb became the next ruler. But because of this, he basically imprisoned Shah Jahan in Agra fort for the 8 years. Okay, and because he basically from that Agra fort, basically Taj Mahal was clearly visible. That's why he was prisoned at that place. Okay, Shah Jahan. Next we have, the Battle of Samugra was fought between Aurangzeb and which of the Mughal prince? Okay, you know that this battle was fought between Aurangzeb and Dara Shikoh. Okay, correct answer is option number D. That is option number D is the correct answer. And in this battle, Aurangzeb successfully defeated Dara Shikoh. Okay. Next, the mausoleum of Taj Mahal was designed by. So, who designed Taj Mahal? You know, this was designed by Ustad Ahmed Lahori. That's why his two hands were cut, because that Shah Jahan wanted that no other architecture marvel should be there other than Taj Mahal. Okay, because you know that Taj Mahal is one of the seven wonders of the world. Okay, it's a very beautiful place and very beautiful monument. If you have been there, it's very good. Okay, nowadays it's becoming little bit of slightly yellow because of the acid rain, but still it is at its best best architectural monument that you will see. Okay, now next question we have, who among the following has written the Badshah Nama? Okay, so Badshah Nama was written by Abdul Hamid Lahori. Option number B here is the correct answer, and this was written in Shah Jahan's reign. Okay, so because he was the court writer of Shah Jahan, that's why he wrote this book Shah Jahan Nama. Okay, kind of Badshah Nama. Which Mughal ruler was responsible for the execution of Guru Tegh Bahadur in year 1675? Okay, who executed Guru Tegh Bahadur in 1675? You know that Mughals were not very much, like Akbar was tolerant towards other religions, but after that all other Muslim rulers, like in Mughal period, they were not at all tolerant towards other religions. Okay, so they always wanted someone to convert to the Islamic religion. Okay, so that was a very kind of very frustrating thing at that time period. Okay, so because like he was the kind of Guru Tegh Bahadur, he was the ninth Sikh Guru. You know that there are 10 Sikh Guru and 10 Sikh Guru in Sikhism. So here ninth Sikh Guru was Guru Tegh Bahadur, and he didn't accept basically the proposal of Aurangzeb to accept Islam. That's why he was executed by Aurangzeb. Okay, so correct answer is option number C, that is Aurangzeb. Next we have, which Mughal emperor issued the Deccan campaign against the Marathas and spent significant time in this region. Okay, who was the person who basically fought against Marathas? So he was Aurangzeb, because you know that at the like the last phase of Mughal emperor, okay, you will see they started to get weakened. Okay, and because there was another dynasty which was coming into the power, and they were very kind of strong. A strong power was basically emerging, and they were Marathas. Okay, so to basically to suppress Marathas, Aurangzeb spent a lot of time in South India. Like he spent there almost 25 years of his reign. Okay. Next we have, consider the following statement regarding the Rathor Rajputs of Marwar. Okay, so we are given some statements. So first of all, we have, the rebellion of Rathor Rajputs of Marwar began due to Akbar's interference in their succession politics. Yes, because see, in Rajputs they had a very kind of a lot of internal disputes. Okay, in them, in their brothers, cousins, they always used to fight and forward for power. Okay, so this is correct, because here they basically, the Mughals, the Akbar interfered in the succession politics. That's why they started or they became a rebel of Mughal Empire. Okay, Babur suppressed the Rathor rebellion of Marwar during his reign. Is it correct? No. This particular rebellion was not basically suppressed by Akbar. It was suppressed by whom? It was suppressed by Aurangzeb. Aurangzeb, not Babur. Okay. Correct answer is option number. Here option number C is the correct answer. That is statement 1 is true, but 2 is false. Next we have, who among the following Sikh guru led the foundation of Khalsa Panth? Okay, what is Khalsa Panth? See, in Sikhism, this Khalsa Panth was founded by, it was founded by Guru Gobind Singh. Okay, Gobind Singh, and on his memory there's a the guy Guru here in Patna Sahib, there's a Patna Sahib. Okay, you know that in Patna, Bihar, he was basically born. So Guru Gobind Singh was born in Patna Sahib. There's a very beautiful Gurudwara in Patna. Okay, Patna Sahib. So he was Guru Gobind Singh, and he started Khalsa Panth in 1699. What is Khalsa Panth? Okay, let's understand this first. See, the main motive of Khalsa Panth was to, yeah, you just have to be very much helpful. You know that in today's time also, in each and every Gurdwara, you know that there is a kind of langar. Langar is a very good practice which is basically started by like Guru Gobind Singh at that time period, and it is there in all across India. Okay, not only India, even in, I think, in foreign also it used to be there. So it's a very good initiative. You will see if you have been there in Gurdwara. Okay, now you will say that he also introduced the policy of 5 Ks. And what are these Ks? First of all, you will have to have Ks. Okay, these things are followed by the Sikh people. So you have to have your Ks. Okay, then we have Kangha, you have to keep your Kangha. Then we have Kara. What is Kara? It's a kind of bracelet. Okay, then we have we have what? We have Kachera. Okay, Kachera. Then fifth K is what? It is Kripan. Okay, so these are the 5 Ks that you have to keep with yourselves always. Okay, under whose rule did the Mughal Empire achieve its largest territorial limits? Okay, so you know that the largest expansion of Mughal dynasty, we see it in which time period? We see it in Aurangzeb's time period, because in this time period the Mughal emperor was it at its peak. Okay, correct answer is option number D, that is Aurangzeb. Okay. Now, who among the following Sikh spiritual guru is said to have assisted Khushro, the revelation of Jahangir? Okay, so revelation of Jahangir, that is Khushro. Khushro was basically he got the kind of residence under Sikh spiritual guru, and who was that person? The person was Guru Gobind Singh. Not Guru Gobind Singh. See, he was Guru Arjan Dev. Okay, correct answer is option number D, that is Guru Arjan Dev, who was the fifth Sikh Guru. Fifth Sikh Guru, basically he assisted the Khushro. Okay, because of this, there was a kind of rebellious against. There was a they became rebel of Jahangir. Okay, now After the death of Sri Guru Gobind Singh, the Sikhs revolted against whom under the leadership of Banda Bahadur. So Sikh, they revolted against whom? Against Mughals. Okay, correct answer is option number B. Under which of the following Mughal emperor were the Marathas a major challenge to sovereignty of the Mughals? Okay, so you know that during the Maratha period, you know that Aurangzeb was the person basically who was threatened of Marathas. Okay, he used to think that okay, at one there will be a time in which Marathas will overcome the Mughal Empire. Okay, they will basically overthrow the Mughal Empire, and eventually later on, what happened when the later Mughals came, they were not that much powerful, and Marathas were basically expanded a lot in the whole India. Okay, so here the correct answer will be option number B, because Aurangzeb was very much threatened of Marathas. That's why he spent a significant time of his reign in South India, that is 25 years. Okay. Next we have, which Maratha ruler founded the Maratha Empire in 1674, proclaiming himself Chhatrapati. Okay, so who has given title of Chhatrapati to himself? He was Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj. Okay, so correct answer is option number C, that is Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj. Okay, in which year? In 1674 AD. Next we have, consider the following statement regarding Guru Nanak Dev Ji. Okay, Guru Nanak Dev Ji, and he was the first Sikh Guru, and this is very basic information. First Sikh Guru. Now the options. First statement that we have, Guru Nanak Dev Ji was the third Sikh Guru. No, he was the first Sikh Guru. Okay, and Guru Parv marks his birth anniversary. This is correct. Statement 2, we have, Guru Nanak Dev Ji was the first Sikh Guru and founder of Sikhism. Yes, 2 is correct. Option number D is correct one. That is, statement 1 is false and statement 2 is true. Okay. Next, Bazirao I and Bazirao I or Bazirao Ballal was the son of whom? Okay, so Bazirao I was the son of Peshwa Balaji Vishwanath. Okay, option number A is the correct answer. He basically became he was the basically Peshwa at that time period. Okay, Peshwa was kind of prime minister. Okay, now consider the following statement regarding Maratha revenue system. Okay, how they used to collect taxes. Okay, first of all we have, Bhoga was the 25% land revenue collected by Marathas in the Deccan. Okay, see, this was a kind of tax. It was chauth. It was not bhog. Okay, it was chauth. Okay, chauth was the tax, which was 25%. You can write it here like that, chauth 25%. Okay, now Sardesh Mukhi was an additional 10% levy on lands where the Marathas claimed hereditary rights. Okay, so there were two taxes. First of all, it was chauth. Okay, it was for whole Deccan region. Okay, and then second was what? Second was Sardesh Mukhi. Okay, which was basically collected from those regions under which Marathas has directly in hereditary power, hereditary rights over there. Okay, so here only 2 will be the correct answer, that is statement 2 is correct, 1 is false. So this is correct answer, option number D. Which confederation of sultanates defeated the Vijayanagar Empire in Battle of Talikota? Okay, so who basically which sultanate defeated Vijayanagar Empire? Okay, you know that Vijayanagar Empire was very significant in South India, and they were defeated in the Battle of Talikota. Okay, Battle of Talikota by whom? By Deccan Sultans. Okay, option number C, D is the correct answer. And in Deccan Sultan, it was a kind of a coalition of whom? Coalition of Bijapur Sultan. Okay, Bijapur. Then you have Ahmednagar. Okay, Ahmednagar. Then you have Golconda. Okay, Golconda. Then Bidar. So these four like federations, they came together and then they defeated Vijayanagar Empire. Okay, next, who among the following was a famous ruler of Maratha dynasty? So very famous ruler was Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj. Okay, the founders of Vijayanagar Empire, Harihar and Bukka, were the ministers of. So they were the feudatories of which rulers? So they were the feudatories of they Kampili. Okay, correct answer is option number A, because they used to work in their courts, but later on they established their own dynasty, own empire, that is Vijayanagar Empire. Okay, who was the leader that defeated Krishnadev Rai of Vijayanagar in the Battle of Raichur? Okay, very famous battle, Battle of Raichur. Okay, in this battle, Ahmad Shah Behmani. Okay, Ahmad Shah Behmani, he basically he also tried to defeat like Vijayanagara Empire, the Krishnadev Rai, but he can't do that. And then Adil Shah of Bijapur, he defeated basically Krishnadev Rai. Okay, at that time period in 1520. This time period was 1520 AD. Next question we have: which of the following was the last dynasty of Vijayanagara Empire? Okay, so you know that in Vijayanagara Empire also there were different dynasties. They basically rule Vijayanagara Empire. Okay, so there were four dynasties which basically ruled in Vijayanagara Empire. See, the first was Sangam dynasty. Okay, first was Sangam dynasty. Second was Sulub. Okay, Shulub. Then we have Tulub. Then we have Tulub. And then we have Araividu. Okay, Araividu. What was the time period? Sangams, they ruled from 1336 to 1485. Okay, then Sulub dynasty 1485 to 1505. Then Tulub, they started ruling from 1505 to 1570. And then Araibidu, they ruled from 1570 to 1646. Okay, see, this was a time period of different rulers, but Krishnadev Rai, he belonged to Tulub dynasty. Okay, Tulub, option number A is the correct answer. Okay, and his time period was from 1509 to 1530. Okay, next, consider the following statement regarding foreign travelers to Vijayanagara Empire. Okay, so in Vijayanagara Empire, a lot of foreign travelers, they also came to visit. So first we have Domingo Pires, a Portuguese traveler, visited the Vijayanagara Empire during the reign of Krishnadev Rai. This is obviously correct answer, that Domingo Pires, he was a Portuguese traveler and he traveled in the rule of KDR, that is Krishnadev Rai. Next we have Niccolo di Conti visited the Vijayanagara Empire during the reign of Krishnadev Rai. This statement is false because Niccolo di Conti, he visited Vijayanagara Empire, but in the reign of Dev Rai, in the reign of Dev Rai I. Okay, not in the reign of KDR. Okay, so only one is correct. That is statement one is correct. Option number C will be the correct answer. Then we have, consider the following statement regarding the Vijayanagara rulers. Okay, first we have Achyut Dev Rai assumed the title of establisher of the Yavan kingdom. Okay, so basically the Achyut Dev Rai. Okay, Achyut Dev Rai was not the establisher of this kingdom. Okay, he. See, this title was taken by Krishnadev Rai, not by Achyut Dev Rai. Okay, so correct answer will be, this is incorrect. Next we have Krishnadev Rai founded Nagalpuram in memory of his mother. Yes, it is correct that Nagalpuram was established by Krishnadev Rai. So option number here, the correct answer will be option number B, that is only 2 is correct. Then we have, who among the following Vijayanagar rulers married his daughter to Firoz Shah Behmani? Okay, so Dev Rai won because you know that there was a constant conflict between the Vijayanagar Empire and Deccan rulers. Okay, to solve this conflict, the matrimonial alliance was created, and Dev Rai won. He married his daughter to Vijayanagar rule. He married his daughter to Firoz Shah Behmani, and who was the Behmani ruler. Okay, so correct answer will be option number B. Next, the Vijayanagar Empire included people from different cultural regions. Which of the following regions was not a part of it? Okay, see, Vijayanagar Empire was a kind of very vast empire in South India. Okay, in that region, they had Tamil, they had Karnataka people, they Telugus were there, but not Marathas. Okay, because Marathas eventually they became enemy of Marathas, so obviously it was not included in Vijayanagar Empire. Okay. Next question. Vijayanagar Empire Emperor Krishnadev Rai founded a suburban township near Vijayanagar called Nagalapuram after his. So he founded this city after in the memory of his mother. Let's option number D will be the correct answer. See how questions are being asked in SSC. So in previous questions like here, we have seen that this was in a option, that is he founded this city in the memory of his mother, and this same question is in a question as a that he founded the city in the memory of his mother. Okay, next, the founders of Vijayanagar Empire were the feudatories of which of the following dynasty? Okay, so Vijayanagar Empire, the founders of Vijayanagar Empire, they were the feudatories of Kakatiyas of Warangal. Okay, Kakatiyas of Warangal. So they used to work under the Kakatiyas of Warangal, but later on they established their own dynasty, because later on you know that each kingdom they used to decline because all the rulers will not be same. Okay. Next, which Peshwa signed the Treaty of Bassein with the East India Company? So, Treaty of Bassein was signed with by Bajirao II with East India Company. Okay, Bajirao II and East India Company. It was signed, and in which year? In 1802. Okay, so he basically accepted the British sovereignty. Okay, the local communities of merchants were known as what in the Vijayanagar Empire? Okay, in the Vijayanagar Empire, the local communities of merchants, they were known as Kudirai Chettis. Option number C is the correct one. Then we have in 1850, Kashmir was sold under which of the following treaties to Dogra dynasty of Jammu? Okay, so in 1850, the Kashmir was sold under the Treaty of Amritsar. Option number C is the correct answer. To whom? To Gulab Singh. To Gulab Singh of Dogra dynasty. Okay, remember this. Okay, next we have, and this was sold by whom? It was sold by Britishers. Sold by Britishers. You can remember this also. See, these questions are not very much frequent. Okay, so if SSC has asked this question once, then it is your responsibility to remember the fact for forever. Okay, till the time you gave SSC examination. Next we have, consider the following statement regarding the tripartite treaty of 1838. Okay, so tripartite treaty was signed in 1838, and it was signed between whom? It was signed between between the first of all, let's see the statements, then we will explain it. Tripartite treaty was signed with Shah Shuja, Maharaja Ranjit Singh. Okay, then you have we have English East India Company. Yes, all these statements are correct, so statement 1 is correct answer. The Governor General of India at that time of this treaty was Lord Auckland. Yes, so in this time period, the Auckland was basically the Governor General. So both statements are correct. Option number here, the option number B will be the correct answer. Next question. The 7 years of war in the 18th century was fought between Britain and whom? Okay, so 7 years of war, this was fought between whom? France and Britain. Okay, option number C is the correct answer, France and Britain. So the French they also came to India, but there was a kind of conflict, a Britishers conflict with French for a long time. Okay, but later on they ended this like kind of, you can say, war. Okay, French possession in India were restored after the Battle of Vandivas by the treaty of which signed in the year 1763 between Britain and France. Okay, so in Battle of Vandivas, basically Britishers they defeated French. Okay, but later on there was a treaty which was signed, and that was Treaty of Paris, because they were also fighting in Europe. Okay, so Treaty of Paris was signed, and later on basically they settled there all the things. Next we have, which feature is not commonly associated with French colonial architecture in India? Okay, so like they basically they used wide verandas. Yes, tall doors and windows. You will see that in foreign there are tall doors and windows. Sloped tile roofs. Yes, correct. Ornate Mughal domes. No, why they will accept those architectural structures of Islams? They will not accept that. Okay, so they basically they started using what, their own traditions, own architecture. Next, consider the following statement regarding the invasion of Delhi in 1739. Okay, so these all questions are all regarding the medieval history only. Next we have statements. Okay, first of all, you know that like in 1793, who invaded India at that time? Okay, so first of all, Nadir Shah came to India in 1739, and he invaded Delhi. He was the Iranian ruler, defeated the Mughal emperor Muhammad Shah at the Battle of Karnal, and looted immense wealth from Delhi. Yes, this statement is correct. Ahmad Shah Abdali, after the Battle of Karnal, carried away Kohinoor diamond with the peacock throne to Iran. No, this statement is incorrect, because Nadir Shah took this peacock throne. Nadir Shah, not Ahmad Shah Abdali. Okay, so correct answer will be option number C. That is statement 1 is correct, not 2. Now we are given some assertion and reason. Now we have to choose which is the correct answer. First we have, British capital accumulation in the 18th century was reinvested in industrial development. Like, is this statement correct? See, here you will see that Britishers Britishers basically they came here, they used to trade over here, and then again those amounts were here invested in further growing their own business, and later on which helped them to establish a kind of control uh, on this country. Okay, then we have capital was largely controlled by merchants and industrialists instead of feudal aristocracy. Yes, because you know that this all these capitals was controlled by, money was basically under the control of merchants. Okay, this is correct. So here both statements are correct, but R is not a reason of us, this reason. Okay, this is not a correct reason. So here A, both A and R is correct, but R is not correct explanation. Next we have consider the following statement about a trinity of Carnatic music and choose the correct option. First, we have the Tyagraj, Mathuswami Dikshitar, and Shyam Shastri lived during the 17th century. See, these questions are not very much frequent. You know that these are the questions you will see for the first time. Okay, but these all have been asked in CGL or selection post. Okay, as you can see, it was asked in SSC Steno. Okay, written also. So, see, Tyagraj, here you will say that Tyagraj, here Muthuswami Dikshitar and Shyam Shastri, they didn't live during the 17th century. They lived during 18th or 19th century. Okay, so this is incorrect. Then we have Trinity elevated the Kriti from the high to its highest artistic expression. Yes, this Trinity they basically did a lot of development in the arts and music. Okay, so only two is correct one. Next statement, Divane Am containing the marble canopy ornamented with beautiful panels of Pitradura work is a part of which monument? Okay, Divane Am, Divane Khas. So Divane Am was the place where like normal people they can come and they can say their problems, they can tell their problems. Okay, but Divane Khas was a place which was basically designated for the important people. Okay, so it was there in where it was there in Red Fort. Okay, in today's also if you will go to the Red Fort, you will see there's a throne over there also still there, and it was Divane Khas and there was a Divane Am. Okay, there's a slight difference between those two structures. Okay, you can see still it is there. Now, according to which of the following foreign travelers, people of Delhi used to write letters containing abuses to the Sultan. Therefore, in order to punish them, Sultan decided to shift the capital. Okay, in which year this can happen? Okay, this was basically quoted by Ibn Battuta. Ibn Battuta wrote that, okay, people of Delhi, they used to write letter to Sultan in which they used to abuse Sultan, and that Sultan was none other than Muhammad bin Tughlaq. Okay, because he was doing such a kind of such kind of work which was not very much in the favor of people. Okay, that's why people used to abuse him, and it might be one of the reason of shifting its capital, but it didn't seem so. So let's assume that this is correct or something. Now, Chandbardai famous literary work mentions Prithviraj Chauhan love story and heroic deeds. Okay, so there was a book named as Prithviraj Raso. Okay, in which it was written by Chandbardai, and he basically wrote about the Prithviraj Chauhan's love life. Okay, now, which of the following statement is correct regarding the temples of Khajuraho? Okay, first we have equal importance is given to human experience and spiritual pursuit. Yes, in Khajuraho's temples, you will see that equal importance is given to the spirituality and the normal life. Okay, then we have Jain and Hindu temples are also found at Khajuraho. Yes, Chaushant Yogini temple is one of the important temples here. Yes, Chaushant Yogini is very important temple which is there in Khajuraho temples. Okay, so all the statements are correct. Option number A will be the correct answer. Next we have which of the following statement is correct regarding the regional features of Gujarat's medieval structure? Okay, first we have architectural forms in Gujarat often incorporated elements from local temple traditions. Yes, if you are building some architectural temple over there, then you will have to give some local touch to it. Okay, so this is correct. Then we have structures such as mosque and tombs in Gujarat featured ornamental carvings like torans and bell motifs. Yes, this is also correct. The architectural style strictly avoided any decorative influence from indigenous practices. No, we will definitely follow our indigenous culture. Okay, that's why it will reflect in the architecture as well. So this is incorrect, so option number here will be correct answer. D will be the correct answer. 1 and 2 are correct. Next we have, who was the founder of Bahmani Sultanate? Okay, the founder of Bahmani Sultanate, he was Alauddin Hassan Bahman Shah. Option number D is the correct answer. Okay, and he is also known as the Hassan Gangu. Okay, Hassan Gangu, and he founded the dynasty Bahmani Sultanate in which year? 1347. It was one of the dynasty of Deccan rulers. Okay, Deccan region. Next, which red and buff sandstone is tallest tower in India, built in 13th century? So which of this is the kind of monument which is built by red and buff sandstone? Okay, this is Qutub Minar. If you have been ever to the Qutub Minar, you will see it's a very long structure, and it's a one of the UNESCO's World Heritage also. Okay, UNESCO World Heritage. Okay. Next question. Consider the following statement regarding temple architecture in India. Okay, first we have, Dravidian style of temple architecture flourished mainly in northern India. No, Dravidian style was famous in southern India. Okay, in southern India, not in other India. Okay, Visra style represent in a fusion of Nagar and Dravid. Yes, this is correct. So only 2 is the correct answer. But here in North India we have Nagar style. In South India you have Dravid style, and in central part you have what? Besara style. Okay, Besara style, which is a fusion of Nagar and Dravid. Okay, next question. Consider the following statement regarding the astronomical observation in North India. Okay, so first we have, Savai Jai Singh II established 5 Jantar Mantar observations at Delhi, Jaipur, Ujjain, Mathura, and Varanasi. See, whenever we talk about a Jantar Mantar, we always take the name of Delhi. Okay, we know the name of Delhi, but other than Delhi, it is there in different parts also. Like in Delhi, we have it is in Jaipur, then we have it in Ujjain. Okay, Mathura and Varanasi. This is correct, and it was built by Savai Jai Singh. Okay. Now, Savai Jai Singh too founded the city of Jaipur in 18 November 1727. Yes, this is also correct. He was appointed the Subedar of Agra in 1722. All these are the correct statement about the Savai Jai Singh too. So, correct answer will be option number D, that is, all of these are true. Next question. The title of Chief of Merchants or Malkut Tujur was conferred to Mahmud Gawan for which of the following Bahmani kings? Okay, so which title, like Chief of Merchant, this title is given to whom? It was given to Humayun Shah. Option number B is the correct answer. Okay. Which of the following dynasties genealogy was found in Bijolia inscription? Okay, Bijolia inscription, we found their kind of genealogy in like about which dynasty? It is about Chandels. Okay, Chandels. So we found their genealogy in in the Bijolia inscription, and you know that we got this information from Shahnama. Okay, Shahnama. Okay, so this is the correct one. Now see, this was the end of the video, and we have taken or kind of we have covered all the questions of 2025 and also the previous year questions which are important from exam perspective. Okay, and we have tried to cover everything which is important and which can be asked in your examination. So this was about it, and thank you so much and keep learning. Okay, and you will get the PDF or of this lecture in our Telegram channel. Okay, thank you so much.